Hi there, I'm Holly McDonald with the Costa Mesa Pod, where we discuss all things concerning the lifestyle, businesses, and activities that make our area such a great place to live. Today, I have my guest, Paul Gorman, with me, and he is with ClearView Strategies. I am so excited. This time of year, a lot of us are thinking about getting ready for tax season, and we should always be thinking about our money, of course, but Paul's here to give us a lot of guidance, a lot of resources, and I'm just thrilled to have you here. Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Holly. It's great to be here. And Costa Mesa is really a great community. I love Costa Mesa.
I love to hear that, and I'm sure everybody watching does too.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Why don't you introduce yourself and share a little bit more about your company?
No, that sounds great. So I have a deep accounting experience, about 4 decades of accounting experience as a CPA and a government finance executive. I opened my firm, ClearView Strategies. It's a CPA and financial coaching firm, which is a little bit different than the average bare CPA. And I started the business because I just felt like I had this great toolbox, not only with the accounting and tax experience, but also with all of the personal growth work that I've done, the communication work, the leadership work, I worked with an executive coach for 10 years, and I learned so much. And so when I combine all that in my toolbox, I just felt like I had to use it.
Yeah, you had gained all of this knowledge and know-how, and now you want to share it.
Yeah. I mean, I think for anyone that's in the line of work like you are, like I am, we really want to make a difference for people, right? And that, I think, is probably the primary motive for most people. Making money it's great. It's what we'd like to do. But so, my firm it's the traditional CPA firm. We do tax compliance work. We do tax planning work, tax strategy, accounting work, consulting work. I worked with an estate and trust client this year who their father had passed with a $7 million commercial property, and winding things up, kind of being a quarterback for them was a really fun engagement. I'm a successor trustee for a trust where I manage, now it's about $2 million in assets using fixed income. So I have a very broad experience, and on top of that, I took on financial coaching. And one of the things that I see is that especially today, as individuals and business owners, it's challenging to meet the demands of being, the CEO, being the one that's running the business, and also to be looking at, what's happening with my cash flow?
Yeah.
How am I able to pay myself first, every month on a consistent basis,
Well, and I'm sure, like you said, over 40 years, you've seen a lot of change in the way people use their money habits. I mean, right now, I can buy something on my phone right now, right? And I could go to the store and just use my phone and pay for it. It's so much easier to be mindless about it, but you really do have to be mindful, and I'm sure that's something that you have to coach people on.
Yeah, and the key is you'll hear this throughout our session today, is being forward-looking. There's no guilt that someone doesn't have all the things they need to handle all their finances. Uncle Louie can help, the internet can help, but sometimes it's just helpful to have a partner on your team to help you with that, to help you design a system and work with you so that you can really see how it can benefit you. And I like the idea of creating a system that they really know their true north, where they're going, where they're headed.
Yeah.
And creating a system that they can get blown off course by a whammy, a special bill that comes in that you weren't planning on, maybe a big tax bill, who knows.
Well, not if they're working with you.
Yeah, well, there you go. Thank you. And that's when they want to have something in place that they can bounce back quickly and get back on course.
Yeah.
And that's what I think financial coaching.
Yeah, well, I loved what you said before we started recording. Can you share that quote, kind of how you describe yourself as a CPA?
Yes. The first thing I want to say is that, you know what? Get in and see your CPA as soon as you can, right? By April 15th, they're tired and they're not going to be performing their best. Your goal may be to get your return done by April 15th, but get started sooner. So, your CPA is focused on last year, but your job is to focus on the coming year. My strong suggestion is use your CPA as more than an archaeologist, right? Yeah, they're going to dig through the past. You want them to get the best deductions you can. Use them as an architect for the coming year. Yeah. And, as your partner in planning the year and hopefully beyond that you really want to create with your business. And I think then you can really get some synergy. Yeah,
well, and I know, like, in the past, I've seen clients that have come to me after they visited with their tax professional, and they said, my CPA, my accountant says, I need some write-offs, so now I want to buy a house. I like those calls. Yeah, is that something that you do see a lot of?
Yeah, and the sad thing is by the time most people are sitting down with their CPAs, there's not a lot of things they can do for the past, other than maybe some, retirement plan options. So that's a great time. Bring in all your questions. Bring in the things you're thinking about over the next year. And, get those questions answered. Now, if your CPA says, we don't have time for that, make an appointment for May. Make an appointment for October or November to make sure you can do your year-end tax planning and get those things in before. A residence is still great. One of the things that our tax legislation this year did was they increased the state and local tax limit. It was $10,000 and now it's $40,000. So people's state income taxes, real estate taxes, even their license fee, perhaps sales taxes for large purchases. We can really get the benefit of those. And where we saw many people not even itemize deductions that had homes, now it really opens the window. And the itemized, the standard deduction is much higher too, but it's great to work out what that might look like for clients, in today's market.
Yeah, can you go back and explain about the $10,000 deduction going up to, you said 40?
So, before about 2017, back in the dark ages, we had basically you could deduct all of your real estate taxes, all of your state income taxes, personal property, maybe you had a motor home someplace and there was personal property besides the DMV. And there was no limit on it. In 2017, they placed a limit on that. The limit was $10,000. It really, now, just the thing to know is that at that time they increased the standard deduction. So that was the good news. But the bad news is many people that had homes, maybe higher state taxes that they were paying, which in California is all of us are paying higher state taxes.
Yeah.
So you could have $12,000 of property taxes, $8,000 of state income taxes, car license, and be up to 20 or 21 or 22,000 of deductions, but only be able to take advantage of 10,000. It also means that some people were not able to itemize deductions, which generally, if you own a home, it's going to be to your advantage. The legislation that came about in July, they called it the One Big Beautiful Bill, or OB3 is one way to say it in shorthand. That's when the 40,000 came back into play. Now, it's only until 2030. So, we'll see what happens then. But so for the next few years, maybe you weren't even giving your property tax bill to your accountant because he says, you don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
But now you want to make sure your car license, your property tax bills. In some cases, I'm recommending to clients that they, if they have room in that $40,000 and a big income year, that they prepay, for example, the April property tax payment in December.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, $10,000 doesn't even cut it for a lot of people as far as property taxes go if they've bought more recently.
oh, yeah.
It's like nothing.
In California, states like California and New York, it really hurt our taxpayers.
Yeah.
So, the good news is that whatever lobbies there are for our states, we're able to get in this larger limit. And I think it's really going to make a difference for our clients this year.
That's great. So with what you do as a coach and a CPA, obviously this time of year starts to be very crazy for you, but are you reaching out, or did you reach out after the OB3 was passed to let them know to think about that stuff?
The one thing I'm meeting with my clients usually at the time we prepare the taxes, and we prepare a forecast for the coming year.
Yeah.
And it's more than just a safe harbor to make sure you don't have a penalty.
Yeah.
Right? It's really asking them, well, what do you see happening? What's happening with your business? What's happening with your employer? What other plans? Are you looking to buy a house? Are you looking to buy a rental property? So that we can start to plan for what that might look like and how that would impact them. Because I think for new home buyers, that first question they're going to want to know is, well, how do I pay for this, right?
Yeah.
So how do you need to change your withholding, hopefully decrease it? How is that overall going to affect your tax picture? And then again, in October and November, I like to meet with clients, and then you can look at, well, is there any equipment in the wings that you think you really need, right? That
car.
you can buy. And we have, once again, 100% bonus depreciation. So if you have to buy equipment for your business, you can write it all off. It's kind of like like paying your utilities. You can just write it all off, for your business. Cars. There's a rule that said if it's over $6,000 gross vehicle weight that you're using in a business, you can write off 100%. I hesitate to say that's always the best thing, because if it was only going to save you, let's say, in taxes in a 15% level, and we know that next year you're going to have a much bigger year, we might want to save that purchase. But that's part of the process of working with them.
Yeah, that's part of the benefit of having that post meeting prior to the end of the year. I love that. I do want to ask you a little bit about how you got into this field. What is your story? How did you decide you wanted to, work in accounting, be a CPA? Did you always have a love for money? Was this like a family thing? How did you get into it?
That's a great question. I'm a native Southern Californian.
Where'd you grow up?
Huntington Beach.
Right.
Actually, Dina until high school, and then we came to Huntington Beach. And I went to Golden West Junior College for a couple of years. And when I got into Golden West, I took some aptitude tests. I don't know what I remember I took a Myers-Briggs and some other ones. What I got, what I recall that I got from that was two things: that I enjoy math and I like connecting.
Oh, how perfect.
So I thought public accounting.
Okay.
So I got my, I was already thinking about an accounting degree. I think I had an aptitude for math and, kind of enjoyed the puzzle that it presents for you. And I jumped into a degree. I went to Cal State Long Beach, Bachelor of Science in Business Administration with an option in accounting. I mean, it's like this big, long description. And then I started off work for a healthcare company and then a CPA firm. And, I asked the I guess what would it have been? It would have been the CFO of this healthcare company. You know, what would you do? I mean, what do you think it's worth it to be a CPA, or there's all sorts of certified management accountant or this and that. He says, I think it's a good choice. So why I like the designation of CPA is, one, you're a professional, and you can use that in so many different ways. You can use it to be a CPA and hang up your shingle and run your practice. You can use it to do only auditing and telling businesses whether their financial statements fairly present the results of operations of financial position. You can do tax work. You can do accounting work, bookkeeping work. There's so many fractional CFO, there's so many things you can do. So that made me feel like I have a lot of opportunity for different choices throughout my career.
Yeah. But I know that for you too, connecting with people is a big thing, and I don't normally, not to not to say anything rude or anything like that, but I know that it seems like a lot of times accountants, people that are doing that type of work, are more focused on the numbers than on the people side of it. And I know for you, the people side of it is really important. So I guess that's how the coaching came into it.
Yeah. I like to say you're more than your numbers.
Yeah.
I also used to say that I do accounting with personality.
Oh, nice one.
I don't say that to detract from other accountants, and I think there's probably a lot more variety of clients these days. So, I in the first part of my career, I was a CPA in practice, and I loved connecting with people, even if it's only doing their tax work once a year.
Yeah.
And, you've done your taxes for many years. You know that the information you're sharing with your CPA is very, very personal.
Yeah.
And there needs to be a level of trust. So developing that trust doesn't happen in minutes. Sometimes it takes time. So I think it's important for me as a CPA really to listen. In my financial coaching, I use more of an approach of lead lines. So, for example, I may say, Holly, I'd like for you to answer this lead line any way that you wish. When I think about preparing my taxes, I feel. So you would answer it, and then I would mirror what you said. I would ask you, am I with you? And you will say, yeah, but you forgot this one thing, Paul. I said, got it. I'll mirror that. And then I'll say, is there more? Now, how is that different than a question? A question, if I say, what do you think about taxes? You may say, well, you have to do them. It's no big deal. I do what I have to do, right?
Yeah.
So when I give someone a lead line and I really mirror what they've said, and I give them the opportunity to share everything that's there, to drain the tank, right, if they feel comfortable, what it does is it provides a very safe environment for them to share what's there for themselves, which means that our partnership can be so much more effective when I know really what's there for you. Then when I know what your goals are, what your thoughts are, what you don't want to do, what you do want to do, then I can really help make a difference for them.
That's a really good point. I think that listening and really helping your clients to feel understood goes a long way.
Yeah, like for you, if someone comes to you and says, well, we want a house and we want this, that, and this, and you go out and show them something that doesn't have that, that's not going to build trust. And why is trust important? Well, the more trust that I have in you as a real estate agent, the more I'm going to rely on what you're telling me, and the more that I will want to share deeply what I really want, right?
Yeah. Well, and so when you're working with people and they say, I have this goal, you know, I want to have this much money in my business by the end of next year. Let's say it's a little bit of a stretch goal. What sort of solutions can you team up and come up with? Or do you have to reality check them?
Yeah. The first thing I would say, it's not my goals that are important.
Yeah.
It's not what I want for the client. You could be someone that, I'm sure you're not, but you could be someone who has a lot of debt, right? But that's not your highest priority right now. You know, I could say, well, gee, you should really pay down that debt. You're paying too much interest, and, you know, let's find a way to do that. But if that's not your goal, then that's not something that I'm going to focus on. I'm going to raise awareness. I'm going to educate. I'm going to find out how you feel about doing that. So the way that I like to start is I have a questionnaire that I provide to financial coaching clients, and it really tests the water, finds out what they've done before, what are their goals, and then I do something called a ClearView clarity session. And I take the questionnaire, monthly expense spreadsheet that they have, a lot of information, and I sit down for a 2-hour meeting with folks.
Oh, wow.
And it really gives them a baseline of where they are. Then I can inquire and also see from their questionnaire, what are they really looking for? What are their primary goals? And that's what we're going to focus on first. So if a business comes to me and says, you know what, we want to grow the business, we've got problems in cash flow, or our customers aren't paying, we're not sure if we're charging the right profit, you know, we have the right margin and cost of sales numbers, and we can't take a vacation, you know. I'm always working, I can't get away. You know, those are the things that we'll look at first. And it could be goals for buying equipment and, you know, maybe staffing up, converting a 1099 person to an employee. But it's all really customized to see where you're going. What's the best way to say it? So fear sometimes motivates all of us, right? I would rather focus on what's really important to you. What's really keeping you up at night?
Yeah, the whys and all of that. Yeah.
And that's going to give me a clue for who you are and what you're looking for. And then we can build a program. And with businesses, it's like, let's get you paying yourself evenly every month throughout the course of the year. Let's get you saving money in a high-yield savings account for your taxes. Let's have you putting aside money for future equipment in a high-yield savings account. Let's have you put away money for an emergency fund, you know, in a high-yield savings account. And then, you know, throughout the course of the year, if we can have stability in 75 to 80% of our financial situation, then when those whammies hit us, they're not anywhere near as devastating, that require you to go out and get immediate high interest rate financing with credit cards or so on.
Yeah, because they'll get you. I remember when I first got into real estate, feeling fear about, you know, the unknown, right?
Yeah.
In real estate, you're not paid a salary. Everything is based upon when you sell something. And so I think one of the things that made me feel most comfortable when I first started was that I did set myself up with, this is the budget. This is how much I will take home each month, regardless of if I have a sale or not. Obviously not everybody is in that position, because if you start with zero, it's hard to do that. But I think having a plan and having stability can help you to be able to grow a little bit more, feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, boy, that's key. I love it, Holly. It sounds to me you've done a lot of things right in
thank you.
starting your business. I also want to say, through your podcast, through the things that you're active in your community, what a huge support you are for your community, over and above the fact that you help people get into their dream homes and dream properties. And it's very clear to me, and it's one of the reasons that I was really excited to be here today.
Well, it's so nice, especially to hear that from somebody who is a local and has been a local and all of that, because I think I always tell myself this story of, okay, I moved here in, 2008 to Costa Mesa. So, I feel like I'm not a local, but I am now.
Yeah.
At this point, I am, right? But I always feel like I'm not one of the, people from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like a imposter, and I know I'm not.
That's funny.
But it's interesting when you have this idea that to really be a local, you would have had to have grown up there and really been part of the tribe all the way through. And anyway, doing the podcast and feeling like Costa Mesa feels like home to me, and having met so many other people that it's been that for, it's been a great bonding experience. It's really brought a lot of people together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I see the people that you interview, they're local people, right? And maybe they're talking about what it's like here versus LA, right?
Yeah.
I saw a clip of a lady that was talking about that.
Yeah.
Can I say something about mindset?
Absolutely. I love this stuff, and you're very into it, so please, go ahead.
Yeah. So, money mindset, you could also think of it as a script, money scripts.
Mm-hmm.
We have things, and this actually applies to every part of our life. We have things that, maybe were ingrained in us as a 5-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know that they're running the show below, what we think is happening and what isn't happening. And a lot of times I'll tell people that I'm working with is, those thoughts, those fears, say in your example, I'm an imposter. I wasn't born here, Those fears are part of what I believe are our default equipment, our survival instinct.
Yeah.
Right? We want to protect ourselves. We want to defend ourselves and our families. And it generally extends to our clients, right? So our survival instincts are the reason we're all still here thousands of years later. So they're great to have on board. But I often say is when you notice that those thoughts are coming up, they're survival thoughts or survival fears, and you feel it or you notice that it's impacting maybe your choices, that's when you can say, thank you very much for trying to protect me. But I've got it. Right?
Yeah, that's really sweet. That's a nice way to look at it.
And you know the truth. Right?
Yeah.
Like, out of 10 people or even 100 people, I have to imagine you're in the top 5 people of making a contribution to Costa Mesa. And if you're doing that and you just started 2 years ago, bravo.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It doesn't matter. And, sometimes it just matters what your focus is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not wrong for you to have that thought, right? I think it's just worth noticing it and let it go. When I was working with a executive coach, and when I started working with me, he had me go to a place where there was a lot of people. So I would go to Starbucks, and he'd say, sit for 10 minutes and just notice what comes up for you when you see someone. So maybe a big guy comes in and I think, oh, geez, I don't want to mess with him.
Yeah.
Or maybe someone comes in and they've got 3 kids and they're chaotic and, and maybe I'm thinking, oh, they shouldn't be that way or whatever. Just notice it and let it go. Because judgments, expectations, those are all part of our instincts. And they're survival instincts. So the best thing we can do is when we see that they're running the show is just choose something else. Choose a different thought. choose a different action. So that's my thoughts about that.
I love that. And before we started filming, producer Corey and I were talking a little bit about shame and different things that kind of run the show behind the scenes. So we'll just have to tell our thoughts. Like, I am sorry, you are not a saber-toothed tiger trying to get me down right now. You are just a passing thought, and no thank you.
Yeah, that is so great. And the other thing I like to say, we all adapted to fear in different ways. Some people fight. Some people, fight, flight, freeze. It's like, well, why is that guy always fighting? Why is it that? Or why are they running away? Or, man, they freeze. They don't take any action. Why is that? Well, that's the way we adapted. And none of them are really any better than the other. It's just the way we adapted to protect ourselves. And today, I love how you said it. There aren't saber-toothed tigers in our neighborhood. And we have plenty of reason to be to have fears, and they show up without even us knowing that they're there, and that's the mindset, the scripts that are running the show. And the more that we see them and let them go, or raise to the level of awareness of, oh, that's interesting, but that's not true. And, so anyway, it's an area that I love to talk about. I was talking to another coach and talking about, well, gosh, I want to grow my financial coaching business, and I'd like to do it with mindset. She says, you know what, Paul, it's really great, but most business owners don't come to you because of mindset. They come to you with their pain points, the things that are keeping them up at night, that gut punch that they get on April 15th when they have that big tax bill. The fact that they're making money, but they can't pay themselves the way they want. So it's really an opportunity for me to share with them some of the same things that I'm sharing with you right now, that it's anyway, I could talk about that all day.
Yeah, well, no, and I love that, like we talked about, and I know we have touched upon it, but you work with a lot of small business owners of all sorts, really, and help them with the money coaching and things that they probably are just handling everything all at once. Like we said at the beginning, when you're a small business owner in your first year, it is so crazy and chaotic, and you don't know which way your head is facing. And it's like your business is your baby. It's literally that first year, because we all know how, well, most of us know how new parents are that first year. Like, you're not sleeping, you're in survival mode. Like, the last thing you're thinking about is, okay, I have to have this all completely organized over here and also delegated to somebody. I mean, if you can think that way, that's amazing. Kudos. But that's where you come in and you're able to help people get organized and get their plans into action.
Yeah. It's one of the things that I have a 3-tiered service approach. And in my top tier, I provide an option for people to, are you interested in starting a business? Then let's start the planning. You know? So as a financial coach, I'm going to say, well, that's great, starting a side hustle, starting a business, but let's look at what it's going to take to start that to give you the maximum amount of success. So you've got some, sometimes you have to start, and you can't plan for everything, right? You lose a job, you've got to create income, you jump into something new. That's okay. It's nothing wrong with that. But if you're in a situation where maybe you're already in a job and you'd like to create something other than that, then start planning for it. What are you going to want to provide for yourself over the first 6 months, over the first 9 months, as you ramp up the opportunity to earn money? And so anyway.
Yeah, well, all very relevant conversations for the beginning of the year and tax season, coming down the pipeline. So, well, Paul, it was so great to learn more about you and all of the different services that you have to offer. You are a wealth of information. You are definitely an accountant with personality, all of the things, and you can really help people design their financial futures. So, love that.
Thanks. Thanks.
Thanks for joining the Costa Mesa Pod. We'll see you here next week.